Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 2 of the anime series, Ousama Game, the animation, or the King's Game, the animation. And I'm going to rate this episode Tangerine. No. I think I'm going to rate it blue. The color blue. I'm going to rate this episode the color blue. Why? Because that makes just about as much fucking sense as how this episode played out. What the actual fuck? Pardon my French, language warning. So I really enjoyed this episode up until about the 3/4 mark. The entirety of the flashback of the King's Game of old that our main character, Nobuaki, had experienced, seeing how one of his classmates was very much, the fingers were pointed at him much as they were in Nobuaki in the first episode. Coming to this new school, this new town, the King's Game had followed him and everything like that. The suspicions there, the awkwardness of this guy from his former class having to put his hand on the chest of a girl in the class who didn't want any part of that, and nobody took it seriously, and surprisingly, they both died as a result. They both committed suicide as per this King's Game dynamic. It was tragic, heartbreaking, and palpable. It was everything I said the first episode wasn't. If you caught my first episode discussion video, that I compared to the first season, the first half of the first season of SAO with the Aincrad arc, where it was palpable. There was genuine tension, and I felt emotive toward characters who were dying. In the limited time span we really got to know them, they were very humanistic and relatable, and it was just tragic. Same thing goes with this flashback in this episode. If this had been the first episode up until the 3/4 mark, maybe a little more, I mean, it would have knocked it out of the park for me. I would have been completely captivated, on the edge of my seat, just completely stunned. And that's what I was in watching this flashback, which rounds about, of course, to this guy in the classroom. His girlfriend is told to sleep with sort of a nerdy character as part of the class, one of the classmates, and he wants nothing even remotely like that to happen. Understandably, it's his girlfriend. He probably loves her. They're high school kids. How much can they know if they love each other and everything like that? It's arguable, debatable, whatever, till the cows go home. But he doesn't want his girlfriend to sleep with this guy. But then the message comes through the pike that they went ahead with it. They followed the King's Game rule. They got with each other. And so this guy is then given the opportunity to cast out an order that, whatever that order is, whomever it's pointed at, it has to be followed as if it came from the king himself. Himself, herself, itself, whatever it is. And of course, he lets his anger get the best of him very impetuously, not taking this at all one iota seriously. He tells the nerdy kid he's got to kill himself. And so already we're seeing a little bit of fuckery going on because, the main cat Nobuaki and his friend who looks like Marty McFly, complete with the orange sort of vest or whatever it is, they're going to keep an eye on the nerdy cat because he realizes that after talking to him, chasing him to the school rooftop, that, they both have a passion for music. I mean, not that you couldn't tell that by his rock, wristband that he's got, his bracelet that says rock. So, of course, they're jamming all night, and the clock strikes midnight. Oh, but just like in the first episode, the timing was completely wrong. The clock was fast, and it wasn't midnight yet after all. They all breathed sighs of relief. The tension that had mounted and grown and had gotten to be a boiling over, was for naught, because as soon as that clock said midnight, it seemed like all bets were off. This cat was safe. Well, sure enough, we get a phone call that says, no, it's almost midnight, actually, and our main character goes and finds him having hung himself. I love the little pool of urine on the floor below his hanging corpse. It was intense. It was frickin' intense. It blew my mind. I was like shocked and bewildered and stunned, and I'm like, where was all of this in the first fucking episode? So then we catch up back with the modern time, with the here and now. All of these new cast of characters who are now being subjected to the King's Game because main character Nobuaki just happened to move to their fucking school. Thanks, Nobuaki. You know, all hell just suddenly gets all sense gets thrown out the window, and all hell suddenly breaks loose. And this is where I had my biggest fucking problem with the episode. You got the chick, Natsuki, who is all glomming on to our main character since episode 1. She is head over heels, smitten with him, in love with him, obsessed with him. And she's a virgin. Oh, by the way, she's a virgin. So when she gets the order that she's got to have sex with another cat in the class, she doesn't want that. This guy's getting all rapey on top of her, trying to push her down, hold her down, get it to be carried out, conducted, whatever you want to say, to save his life, save both of their lives, allegedly, apparently. And she's all timid and freaking out and asking Nobuaki, you know, will you sleep with me first? I genuinely care about you, like you. I've only met you hours ago, but, you know I want you to pop my cherry before this guy does. And whatever. And I'm like watching this stunned. And then she has a complete face turn because, like, she kicks the guy who's trying to mount her in the stomach and sends him back on his ass. She takes her shirt off and she's like, well, fine. If this is the only way I can survive, you know, Nobuaki, fuck you, get the hell out of my face. Go off and die already. You were going to let me die just for a kiss, and now I got to sleep with this guy? Fine. We're going to do it right here, right now, in front of everybody. I'm going to mount this guy like a hobby horse. And I'm just like, the fuck am I watching? You know, oh, but then it gets better, which is sort of, you know, code for worse, because then Nobuaki's like, no, come on, we can't do this like this. We got to work together. We got to blah, blah, blah. So she says to him, okay, let's go talk. We're just going to take a little jaunt over to the bushes, the trees that are mere feet away from this display that just was conducted in front of an entire crowd of classmates. Taking her shirt off, saying she's going to mount the guy, begging and pleading for Nobuaki to sleep with her first, and whatever like that. So all of a sudden, where he's trying to plead with her selflessly, look, if we work together, if we work collectively, maybe, I mean, there might be a chance. Maybe we could stop this King's Game once and for all. We should try to protect each other. You know, he's kind of speaking common sense. It's kind of going against what he was like in the first episode, where he wanted nothing to do with anybody. But she's complete face turned. She's psychotic. She's fucking completely gone. I don't know what in the fuck is up with this character. Is she being influenced by the king or whoever's running the King's Game, demons or devil or whatever, you know, whatever is behind this supernatural otherworldly game? Because she launches at Nobuaki, chokes him, attacks him. He like pushes her off. She lands on her ass. Bearing in mind, once again, let me just call back on this brief little fact that moments ago, an entire crowd of people saw her take her shirt off willingly and prepare to mount the guy that she was supposed to sleep with for fear of her own mortality. She throws her shirt at Nobuaki behind the bushes where they're having their talk, and then starts screaming to imply he is now trying to assault her. Several of the people who just watched her plead with him to sleep with her before she had to have sex with the new guy, per the King's Game rule, then subsequently remove her shirt and say, well, fine, I'm going to do this guy right here and now. They all come running and start attacking Nobuaki. You want to explain it to me? Because I don't know. I don't know how they go from 2 minutes over here, they see her acting crazy, and then they're all acting crazy, beating the hell up on our main character. All of the tension, all of the compelling aspect of this episode, everything that had me gritting my teeth and like just my eyes glued to the screen was out the window. Because suddenly the sense and the emotion and the feeling and the fear and everything, the tension, was just sucked out like a vacuum. And madness and complete absurdity to an annoying, unacceptable level was vomited up all over the screen. People are kicking and beating the shit out of Nobuaki. Like he just tried to rape her. Mere minutes after she was pleading with him to do the deed before she had to get with the other guy who was actually trying to rape her. For fear of their lives. What? At least there was a brief moment where he's like losing consciousness, bleeding out on the ground after being pummeled and kicked and beaten. When I guess, like, I don't know if it was part of another flashback or somebody comes calling after him, like, where are you? You know, we're looking for you, whatever. Are all these people being mind controlled and he's just the focal point? And they're completely, they're you know, unorthodoxically acting on something that's influencing them, because I don't know. But one guy, the one guy that was holding Nobuaki down and beating the hell out of him chiefly, is finally heard to say when, you know, Natsuki, it tells the other girl, oh, send the text that issues an order for Nobuaki to die. Fuck him. He should die. He's the one who created this problem. He should pay for it. He should suffer for it. Who cares about him? It's justice. Poetic justice. She's completely discombobulatingly fucking out of her mind. And one guy actually says, do you think she's acting a little weird? Oh, I don't know. Maybe, slightly. What the fuck? Holy shit. The first half to 3/4 of this episode were gobsmacking, shocking, compelling. Threw me for a complete and total loop, but in a good way. It had my attention. It had me by the lapels. It was choking a bit, keeping me glued to the screen with intensity and fear and emotion. And then suddenly they had to go complete 180-degree turn into fucking insanity. And it was like all of that tension, all of that, you know, crazy, compelling aspect of the show was gone. It deflated. It just evaporated into thin air. And I suddenly was like, even worse than I was watching the first episode. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is this now? I don't know what in the fuck I just watched. You know? I did see one person on my anime list, because I thought I can't be the only one, right? People were praising the first episode and giving me shit for not really being happy with it via the down thumb and everything like that. And I'm like, I can't be the only one who just watched this and feel like, you know, I was mentally raped by this fucking episode. And one person said something like, was this fucking written by a 5-year-old? 2 thumbs up to that comment, buddy. Spot on. At least that last, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever it was apparently, you know, crayoned in, check boxes marked, with just the most cliched, psychotic, ass-backwards shit I think I have ever seen, at least in a long time. So yeah, I know. Let me tell you how I really feel about the episode. It was great up until that point, up until fucking Natsuki just lost her fucking marbles, and I don't know what the fuck happened at the end of this episode. It was like a smack upside the head with 2x4. And it's really like, whereas I was sold, I was back into this, I was like, fuck yes, I'm gonna be back every week talking about this. Suddenly I'm like, I'm dropping this fucking thing. You know, I'm not gonna be that hasty. I'm gonna give it one more episode to see if it can be coherent at all. But if the first episode and the last quarter of this episode are any indication, they're all over the fucking place. There's no hope for this shit. So we will see. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this, first 3 quarters, excellent, compelling, insane, twisted episode. Come smack upside the head for the last quarter of it, vomiting all over your brand new shoes with just fucking what the fuck was that? If you agree, let me know in the comments below. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Anything goes as long as we have a great conversation. And, but, Jesus Christ on a popsicle stick. What the fuck? Fill me in if you know. I don't even care about fucking spoilers. Does this make sense? Is this how this happened in the source material? Help me out here. Give me a leg up. I don't know what the fuck this was. I'll catch you all later. Peace.